Hey friends, and welcome back to Seasonally Productive. Today we're working on, well, quite a few things actually. I've got two wild cranberry sauces going, and that's what we'll be sharing with you today. I'm also working on a pot of zucchini relish. This was one of our favorite things that we canned last year, and I'm making it again. It's not looking the same, but I'm hoping it tastes the same. Stay tuned. If you're interested in that, check that out too. Let's start with our cranberry ketchup, another favorite that we can. How can we have several favorites? I don't know, but we really did enjoy the cranberry ketchup, especially on wild game. So that's what we'll start with, and then we'll get into the cranberry sweet and sour sauce. The bulk of the time for wild cranberries is cleaning them. So I got those and the rose hips all nice and washed and then put together in the pot. Once I had my cranberries all cleaned, I got them in a pot, added some vinegar just to get things started here so they didn't burn, added in some dates and onion, some olive oil, salt, pepper, mustard, and then some wild bergamot and applesauce. Stirred that all together with the rose hips in there as well. Now for the other pot, I'm adding cranberries, dates, salt, applesauce, and vinegar. This is going to be our sweet and sour sauce, and that's going to get things going here and just kind of get them low and slow and cooked down nice and soft. So we're using high bush cranberries. They are actually technically not a cranberry. They have a large stone inside. I think they are probably part of the cherry family. That is a guess of mine. And they taste very sour. My whole family, we enjoy eating them just as they are. Unfortunately, they don't last very long, just, you know, as fruit. So we preserve them like this. I have also made a juice where I just put maybe like a third of the way up the jar of cranberries and then pour boiling water over it and seal them and have that as our juice, and I really like that. But I'm kind of the only one in the family who does, so because we had such a limited number of cranberries this year, I did decide to just forego that and make the two sauces instead, because we will get more enjoyment out of that. I think I do have 2 jars left of juice for myself to enjoy until next year. And the cranberry ketchup is coming along quite nicely now, so I'm actually going to get it milled, put it through my food mill. This is the one I use. It was my grandmother's, so probably antique at this point, and she called it a ricer, but it's the same thing. Essentially, there's holes in the bottom and this paddle here that when you turn it, it crushes everything and the juices come out, and you know, if you go even further, you can get a little bit of pulp out as well, and then the seeds and the skins and stems and things like that don't go through, and you just compost that. So I'm going to be using this to mill this, get the sauce, and then we'll put it back in the pot to reduce until it's ready for the thickness I like, and taste test, and then get it canned up.
Wait, let me see. Yeah.
So you can see the cranberries have puffed up nicely. They get really big and balloony, and then they eventually pop. I have my helpers here getting these all ground down into the juice. I can't remember if I mentioned that I added garlic or that there's garlic in this, but there is definitely garlic in this recipe. We love our garlic. So once I have it all put through, then I put it back in the pot on the stove to thicken, and then I can do a kind of a little taste test and consistency test on a plate. If you watched my tomato ketchup recipe, you would have seen kind of the ring that comes out of when it's like separating. I find that the cranberry ketchup is better at staying together than tomatoes. I think probably just the water content is better in the cranberries. Getting them into jars, getting those jars sealed up, and then they're going to go in the water bath canner, and we're going to then look at the cranberry sauce and get that finished up. For the sweet and sour sauce, what actually happened last year was I made traditional cranberry sauce. I did not put in enough sugar, I think is what happened, or maybe not enough pectin, and it didn't set. It was really runny. But what we found was it was really good as like a sweet and sour or plum sauce substitute. So this year I'm actually going to forego the cranberry sauce and make a cranberry sweet and sour sauce. So to the pot you saw that I added cranberries and dates and some vinegar. We'll see if I need to add honey or anything else to make it a little more sweet. I also may add some garlic in there. We'll see how it tastes. I want it to be more of a like taste the cranberries. So I don't necessarily want a bunch of different flavors like you might get in a sweet and sour sauce. I'm also not adding any pineapple or anything like that. I'm just working with things I have on hand. So the cranberry sauce is looking good now, and I'm going to again put it through my food mill and get it back in the pot and reducing. This one I don't need it to be as thick as the ketchup, so we don't need to reduce it as long. Then they'll be ready to can. There was a bit of a misfortune with my cranberry sauce. You'll see here it's not as puffy and nice balloony as the ketchup was. Yeah, it burnt. I don't know, I guess I wasn't checking it nicely, but there was a real good layer of charcoal on the bottom of this pot, and I only ended up getting 2 small jars out of this, so I didn't even can them. I actually just stuck them in the freezer, but it did have a nice deep flavor to it, and I kind of didn't mind that smoky charcoaly flavor. But that pot, actually, I ended up cleaning it super easy. If anybody's wondering, what I like to do when I burn the bottoms of pots is put them on the stove, like a medium heat with vinegar and baking soda, and let that heat up, and then I scrape it with a wooden spatula or my scraper for my dishes, and it just comes right off, and actually they come pretty shiny. So if you're ever needing that, there you go. Thank you so much for watching this video about cranberries. I hope it was enjoyable for you. And if you do harvest wild berries like cranberries or rose hips or choke cherries or saskatoons, anything like that, please let me know in the comments. I love hearing about that. If you have some great other recipes for cranberries, I would also love to hear that. We didn't pick until after our first frost, which was quite late in the year this year, and so the animals definitely got first pick of the berries, and they were quite shriveled as well. So I don't think I would do that again. I know if you're into picking for like medicinal or herbal reasons, that last push of the fall is kind of Mother Nature's way, or the tree's way of saying, this is it, put all your energy into these berries. This is, you know, feeding the earth. But because we're harvesting them for food, we are still going to get those medicinal properties. But I think next year we will go back to just harvesting, you know, late summer instead of waiting so long into the fall. And also, if you're into medicinal and herbal gathering or remedies, the wood from high bush cranberry is cramp bark, so definitely we'll be harvesting some of that as well for teas this winter. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this video was inspiring to you for some wild crafting or wild cooking, and definitely give this video a thumbs up if you are totally into that stuff like I am. And if you want to see that zucchini video, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thanks again. Bye.